All right, y'all. The Supreme Court has just allowed a $6 billion student loan settlement to go through. Listen, I know it's been a little minute since I talked about student loan debt, but let's get into this promising update. Before I get started, though, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hey y'all, I just released my first financial literacy ebook, How I Became Debt Free in 22 Months. This is an easy, educational, and encouraging guide. I want you to check it out. It's only $5. Look in the link in the description box below and click that button. All right, y'all. So you already know your girl is always on the latest student loan debt forgiveness information. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my playlist. I have a list from start to finish, everything you need to know about student loan debt. But last week, I was just scrolling around and I saw some promising news for the larger, student loan debt that Biden is hoping to accomplish. So before we even get into this thing, this is totally separate from what Biden is doing, okay? So what just happened? Just last week, the Supreme Court chose to not block a student loan settlement that's going to equate to over $6 billion for students who went to certain for-profit schools that say that they were misled based on the things that the school was telling them, right? So it sounds like the schools were maybe promising, all of these great jobs, if you take out this student loan, and that didn't happen. So as a result, in 2019, a class action lawsuit was filed that basically said, hey, these students were misled into taking out student loans and they should be forgiven. Now, here is where things get a little interesting, right? Because here pops in the Supreme Court, right? So this case made it all the way to the Supreme Court. What the defense was asking was, or not the defense, but the other side who doesn't want student loan forgiveness to happen, what they were asking the SCOTUSes were, to block this from going through, because the schools are saying that, hey, they were not misled. There was no gross conduct happening. So basically, we need our monies, right? Listen, the Supreme Court said we are declining to block this lawsuit from going through, which means that these folks can get their student loans forgiven. With this coming on the heels of a major decision that is going to be made by the Supreme Court on, Biden's big, student loan forgiveness plan, that is supposed to happen by June 30th. A decision will be made by the Supreme Court. They are currently still, looking at arguments regarding this to see if Mr. Biden can do this. So this is very substantial that this is happening so close to this major decision. Now, of course, these are two separate things that are happening, right? So if you don't know, I believe it's the Federal Higher Education Act says that in some circumstances, student loans can be forgiven. So one of those circumstances are folks with disabilities who can't work. And then the other one is when schools mislead folks, into signing up for student loans, and basically they don't get, anything out of the deal. Their degrees, are not able to be utilized for jobs. And as a result, they can't make money, which is why people go to school, so on and so forth. So those are two times where actually student loan forgiveness can happen. And what the SCOTUSes did is really just a great example of, upholding that law. However, what Biden wants to do is a little different, right? He wants a widespread student loan forgiveness based on the effects of the pandemic. So with this happening so close to this decision that's going to be made, I know for me, I'm like, okay, Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court, they do recognize when folks are being taken advantage of, regarding student loans. So what does this mean for the overall decision that's going to be made on June 30th? I think that, I think there's just a little glimmer of hope there. Y'all drop it in the comments and let me know, what do you think? So y'all already know that I paid off my student loans last year on January 28, 2022. I paid off $14,180 of my student loan debt in 9 months. But if you've been watching my channel, you know that I was given a check back, basically a refund for that amount for the payments that I made during the pandemic. So I still have the check. I haven't cashed it yet. I'm definitely paying attention to what's going to happen with student loan forgiveness, because I need to know, like, can I go and buy me a new MacBook, or do I need to give this thing back to these people? Okay, I want to know though, like, do you have your fingers crossed for student loan debt? Drop down in the comments and let me know. Or are you like, hey, this thing ain't gonna happen and I ain't paying on them student loans, no way? Drop down in the comments and let me know. And if you want to know more about student loan forgiveness, if you want to just know from start to finish what has happening and what's happening now, click this playlist here. Bye.